Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Wa salatu wa salam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hatettes, welcome back to the Feachers.
Greetings.
I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. Hayakumullah. So first, I want to see some ones in the chat. If y'all can hear me, fine. Just ones in the chat, please. Hayakumullah. And today is our first smoke show, as you can say, with the new look features. We are trying to step up our game up in here. So we hope you guys enjoy and appreciate the work that we're putting here in the Black Grassroots. We are putting in lots of work to bring you quality material, quality lives. So put ones in the chat if y'all can hear me. Pardon me. I want to say wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to brother Bilal, hayakumullah. And let's get into it, shall we? So we are talking about today about the Islam, the RedPill Islam Grift, which we did a live a few days ago about this, and we want to invite our detractors to come and test us on this particular issue. There has been an entire industry built upon, basically reacting to Islamic material, and we have now a whole economy where it's based upon Muslims refuting Muslims and red pill Muslims and alt-right Muslims and whatnot, all through social media. So now we have a few situations here where some high level social media sultans, so to speak, are becoming Muslim. And and we're, alhamdulillah, we're happy for them that they became Muslim. However, we're not trying to put smoke on them, because what did they know really? They're just new Muslims. Now we heard that Sneeko just recently became Muslim. We ask Allah to guide them and keep them firm, as well as Andrew Tate and all the converts that that people who convert. But these are some high profile converts, okay? Because they're in the public eye. They have a large following. However, it's this twitching, twirling, twerking, break dancing, buck dancing, booty dancing attitude of your YouTubian da'i elites trying to get some biscuits off of interviews with some really shady characters and introducing these characters to the Muslims. But not only that, trying to present themselves as if there's some sort of intersectionality between the grift and Islam. But all it is, let's call it what it is today, it's a hustle. It's a hustle. And it has sparked a new madhab in Islam, which we have affectionately called algorithm Islam. We have called it algorithm Islam, this new madhab, this new sect, where wherever the algorithms take you, that is going to be your religion. Y'all hearing me? So now, because we have this situation, we did a reaction, as if you recall, a few days ago to this, based upon the live video of one Duke the Don, or Don the Duke, whatever his name is. And what we have been saying for months, we don't have anything to do with him, nor does he have anything to do with us. This non-Muslim correctly pointed out. He correctly pointed it out. And he called out what we've been seeing, even though he don't know anything. He doesn't know anything about Islam. He doesn't know anything about what we're doing here. He was calling it out the way that we were seeing it. And it was quite obvious that this was eventually going to happen. And we said that this would happen. We said that this would happen, that it's going to be a matter of time for non-Muslims catch on to this wholesale. And you are going to see the grift in full swing. And that's what we had. This is the situation that we have today. Because this has been building and building and building for a long time in social media spaces, where you have social media personalities, their whole careers are just built upon and based upon reaction videos to Islamic content. But there's nothing inherently wrong with that per se. We don't wrong somebody for reacting to Islamic content. It is this type of inferiority complex that Muslims have, seeking validation from non-Muslims to such an extent that they actually put Islam in a very weak light. Like, we need validation from the people who don't believe in Islam in order to make Islam look valid. Then you start adding money to the mix. When you start adding money to the mix, that's a whole different monster. So if you doubt that this grift is real, and we are telling you without a doubt that yes, it is a real thing, and it's happening right before your eyes, despite what your YouTubian dais elites are telling you, oh, we're just making dawah and whatnot. That is not what's going on. What you are seeing is the Trojan horse once again, with loads of finance behind it, politicizing Islam within this left-right paradigm, and Muslims taking very clear sides in the politics of the non-Muslims. And if y'all don't believe me, watch this, y'all. Watch this. Who is this funny looking fella? Who knows who this is? Somebody put it in the chat, please. Who is this funny looking fella? Do you guys know who this is? Who knows? I want somebody who has been around in the dawah scene for a long time to tell me who this funny looking fella is. Who knows who he is? Thank you. Ozzy got it. It is Majid Nawaz. Now, Majid Nawaz is very famous for being a hardcore member of Hizb ut-Tahrir and then got arrested, by the UK authorities because even he was too extreme for them. And they believe me, in UK they let their extremists they give their extremists a long rope to play skipping with. Okay, so if you are too extreme for the British government, you done messed up. Okay, because they love themselves some extremists. But I digress. Got arrested, Mr. Majid Nawaz. And he was famous for, after he came out of jail, for doing what? For talking about this type of liberal Islam and this type of basically the secular Islam, as he used to call it. That's Majid Nawaz, and he was like that for a long time. After he was released from prison, he renounced his Islamist past, called for secular Islam. Mr. Majid Nawaz. Can you imagine? But now, Majid Nawaz has found his new hustle. Y'all want to hear his new hustle? If y'all want to hear his new hustle, put some thumbs up in the chats, please. Who wants to hear his new hustle? Y'all ready? Y'all ain't ready for this. Let's see what Majid Nawaz is saying nowadays.
You won't find much traction in that demographic that's growing among Muslims, which is going to become a very large demographic. You won't find much traction for the idea that men with penises are women, for example. So there's a lot to be hopeful about. A lot of this woke crap. Am I allowed to swear?
Look at here. You can't make this stuff up, bro. He's hitting, he didn't waste no time hitting the key words. Woke crap. With his beard, and now he's starting looking like a Muslim and everything. Started looking, dressing like everything. Like he came out ready. That Majid Nawaz. Even he's getting his hustle on. Did not waste no time whatsoever. Woke crap. Let's keep watching, shall we? Let's see what else he got to say.
Yes. Yeah. So the bullshit that has no traction in Muslim communities, nor did the COVID mandates, by the way. Some of the biggest opponents of this whole mandate era
It doesn't in the Muslim community.
That's right. Yeah.
Why not?
Again, back to this point. When you're tuned out of the bullshit, which is the data tracking, the matrix illusion that we all live in, when you're just with people, none of this propaganda. I just spent a whole month in a mosque every single night because of Ramadan, praying not just the 5 daily prayers and not just the special Ramadan evening prayer, which is the Taraweeh prayer, but also the Tahajjud prayer, the night prayer. Every night, just leaving my phone at home, speaking to people.
Can you believe this? Now, I don't know if what he's saying is true or not. I mean, I find this very difficult to believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were on this, extremist tip, Hizb ut-Tahrir tip, got arrested for it, then you became a secular Muslim, then perhaps you shouldn't be so eager to go in front of the camera and the mic again and then talk about woke Islam or woke Islam or whatever he's talking about. Wokeism and all this kind of stuff. He's hitting every single red pill alt-right talking point. every single one, out the matrix. And this is what the Muslims are doing. They're not speaking like Muslims. They are speaking like alt-righters, red pillars. They're speaking like Andrew Tate, using all their talking points, and then putting some Arabic words in there like tarawih and tahajjud to the, bringing that stuff to the non-Muslim audience, right? So the grift is real. The grift is real. But let's just continue listening to what Magic got to say.
I can promise you, out there in Muslim communities, the numbers you mentioned, whether it's in Pakistan, whether it's in Indonesia, because they are so tuned out of this propaganda, and that's the reason why, again, it has years of history behind it, not trusting Western propaganda and all that because of colonialism. There's a long history there, but because they're so tuned out in the real world, where people are talking and mixing with each other.
Define tuned out.
Not dependent for their perspective of around life on the very narrow sources of information that we have ended up with in our discourse. And COVID demonstrated that in the way in which our sources of information were so minutely controlled. These are communities that have, because let's take Pakistan as an example with vaccinations, as Vox reports, you can pull it up.
Please, let's not take Pakistan as, as a matter of fact, don't take any Easterners as any example ever in the West. Please, let's not do this. Easterners were the ones who brought you 30 solid years of liberal politics in the masjid, mind you. 30 solid years. When black converts were trying to tell Easterners the real deal behind the democratic system, they weren't trying to hear that. They were trying to get the bag. And they had no issues whatsoever twitching and twirling and twerking, booty shaking, rump shaking, bump shaking for Zaddy in order to acquire the bag. They had no problems with that. One generation, two generations, three generations later, you have the rise of the modern, moderate, as Majid Nawaz was for how many years, secular Muslims. Who caused that? The Easterners. They caused that. But anyways, I digress. Let's let Majid finish his thoughts, shall we? Let's keep going.
Up if you want, but the CIA, in its hunt for bin Laden, engaged in a fake hepatitis B vaccine program against children, using the cover of vaccines to try and take people's DNA against their will by deception, looking for bin Laden. That got revealed, which, as I say, it's on Vox, VOX. That got blown up. The CIA had to apologize for it. But when you've got a history of abuse like that, nobody trusts the messaging in the first place to say, take this shot or you're going to lose your job. Everyone has their starting point is you're all a bunch of liars. So when you're tuned out in that way, what you've got left, you've got no money. It's a developing world. You've got no power. What you've got is relationships. And your relationships are the only thing that matter. As anyone with a Middle Eastern background know the idea of, in Pakistan it's called Safarish, but the idea of it's who you know. You have to know people, your family, your tribal members, even to get on in life, because the system doesn't work. The system has never worked for a long time. So it's the relationships that matter. Now, in that context, you've got no time for the bullshit and the propaganda. So there's no traction for this. These woke culture wars. There's absolutely zero traction for vaccine mandates.
But it has to be, because somebody at the top shuts it down.
Yeah.
Because if the person at the top doesn't shut it down, then there can be traction. Okay, there's a part about so if you want to pull up these stats, I just sent it to you with the whole percentage of go a little lower, go a little lower, go a little lower, go keep going. Let me see if this is the link. Percentage of Muslims who support gay is this article that I found.
Yeah, I was just gonna go.
If you can go to that one, and it says by age. I don't know if you see. Okay, I didn't send you this link. I sent you a different link. I sent you the Pew Research link. Maybe I sent you the wrong link. Okay, let me send you this one. If you can pull this up. Yeah. It says percentage of Muslims who strongly favor gay marriage. Okay, 18 to 29, 49%. Yeah. 30 to 49, 38%.
Where's that, in America?
This is Pew Research.
Yeah, but who's being, is it Muslims in America?
So this is Muslims who strongly favor or favor gay marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Ain't that what we've been saying in the Black Muslim grassroots for how long now? Who are these 18 to 29-year-olds, Muslims, mind you, that strongly favor gay marriage? And look at the demographics. You have your 50 to 64-year-olds who don't, and then slowly, the number keeps rising and rising and rising as the generations get younger and younger. That, my friends, is how subversion works. But who made that happen? Who was trying to get into close proximity with Zaddy to begin with? We don't have this issue. I promise you, we don't have this issue in the Black Muslim mosques. I promise you we don't. The convert mosque, the descendants of the convert mosque, we don't play that. We know very well the tactics of the enemy. And we are not trying to capitulate and cooperate with our enemy so that they can accomplish their goals. But you know who has no issue capitulating? You know who has no issue with accepting what Zaddy tells them so that they can get the bag? See, we're not talking about Andrew Tate today and how your YouTubian elites did with him. We're not talking about Sneeko today and how your YouTubian elites did with him. We are talking about the culture behind the red pill grift and how it is Muslims who are the fuel forcing this. But as Allah says in the Quran, they plot and plan, and Allah plots and plans, and Allah is Khairul Makirin. He is the best of planners. Let's keep watching, y'all. Oh, by the way, just so that I can show you, 1 second. Let me just show y'all. Let me just stop sharing this. 1 second, y'all. Let me share. Just so that I can show you. Pew Research Center. Muslims who strongly favor or favor gay marriage. This is the same stat that he just brought up. Okay, the same thing, directly from the Pew Research Center. So you know it's not cap. So these are demographics: 18 to 29, 49%, and then 30 to 49, 38%, 56, 4, 11%, and 65 plus 2%. What you're seeing here, 65 to 50, 15 years, 50 to 30, 20 years, 30 to 18, another 12 years or so. You could say, let's say 15 years, right? But this is exactly how subversion works. How were they able to do it, you ask? When Muslims were trying to get their charitable status for the masajid, they had to work with the government in order to do that, particularly after 9/11. particularly after 9/11. Many masajids were shut down, not just for suspicion of being extreme, but rather also for anybody they invited, like Dr. Bilal Phillips. In Canada, if you invited Dr. Bilal Phillips to your masjid would lose their charitable status. What does that tell you? That's in Canada, mind you. That tells you that there is a concerted effort to control the messaging that you are receiving from your Muslim leaders. Now, in 2023, who controls the messaging to the Muslims? Are they the people at the caliber of Dr. Bilal Phillips, or even close to his caliber? Or are they YouTubian da'i elites, influencers? Who controls the messaging behind Islam now? Who controls it? Gotta be YouTubian da'i elites, right? It's gotta be them. And your YouTubian da'i elites are driven by massaging the algorithms. So whatever the algorithms take them, that's what they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk about the things that the Muslims actually need. So much so that your YouTubians would even outright side with the enemies and call it dawah. And that's exactly what's going on. And who's on his hustle today? Imagine Nawaz. He's on his hustle now. And there's so many more. Let me show you another one. 1 second, y'all. Let me just show you another one. Let's get another one out here. Let's get another one. Where is another one here? Show you this one from Pew Research. I had one. Where is it? Here we go. This one. There's another one. Look at this, y'all. Religious landscape study. Views about same-sex marriage. %53 strongly favor or favor, 39% oppose or strongly oppose, and 8% don't know. This is the percentage of adults who agree with same-sex marriage. But look at this. This is what I wanted to show you right here. You are not going to believe this. So these are all the different religious groups. You have Buddhists, 84%, strongly in favor, 13% oppose, and the small percentage don't know, okay? Then you have the Catholics, 57%, strongly in favor, and 34% oppose, and 9% don't know. There's no real surprise there. Evangelical Protestant. These are your Bible thumpers, okay? Your Bible thumpers. That's what when they say evangelical Protestant, that's what they mean. Your hot gospelers, Bible thumpers, these dudes, okay? 28%, only 28% strongly favor. 64% strongly oppose. And 7% J don't know, okay? So their numbers are actually pretty strong. Even Jehovah's Witnesses, 14% strongly favor, but 76% strongly oppose gay marriage. 76% Jehovah's Witnesses. Historical Black Protestant, these are your black churches now. 40% strongly favor, 52% strongly oppose. Right? That's a little bit shocking. But the most shocking is this one right over here, the Muslims. The Muslims, 42% favor or strongly favor, and 52% strongly oppose, while 6% don't know. Now, if you're a Muslim, you would think that there will be no such thing as don't know about gay marriage, right? Whether you oppose or not. And you would definitely not think that 42% would favor or strongly favor gay marriage, right? You would not believe that. And you certainly would not believe that the evangelical Protestant and the Black church and even the Jehovah's Witnesses and even the Mormons will be beating the Muslims. You wouldn't believe that. So how did this number get like this? Again, it's from those folks who are in the good graces of Zaddy and them. It's them folks. It's them folks. I have yet to meet a Black convert that fits into this 42%. I've yet to meet one. But coming up in Canada throughout high school, throughout university, work, I met all kinds of liberal Muslims, all kinds. And mind you, this is the play. The play is that the Liberal Party are the ones who invite the immigrants. It's quid pro quo. And in exchange for that invitation, they expect you immigrants to vote liberal. And that's why there's always a struggle between the left and the right about immigration, because it's a political strategy. And that's why you cannot go to Eid at any masjid in the West, any big masjid anyway. You cannot go to any Eid at any big masjid except there's going to be some non-Muslim politician giving the pre-khutbah khutbah. And the vast majority of the times, that politician is a liberal. And these are the consequences. So, Bilal, what does this have to do with the RedPill Grift? See, what's happening is, because there was this 30-year left swing the pendulum now is swinging right, but not just right, it's swinging just as far as it was on the left to the right. So it's swinging far right. And who is participating again in this swing? Once again, it's your biscuits. It's your biscuits. The butter biscuits, the Sambos of the Ummah, those folks. Except now, there's a hustle behind it. There's some monetary gain to be found behind it. So let's go back. Just keep watching, yo.
The percentage of Muslims who strongly favor or favor gay marriage who are ageist. This is a table to promote margins. There is a question. It doesn't say if it's America. Let's just assume it's America.
I imagine it would be.
50 to
those numbers don't
50
make
to
sense for the Middle
64.
East.
50 to 64 age, 11%. 65 plus is 2%. How different is this in Muslim nations?
Very different.
Give us an idea.
It would be the opposite. You'd be seeing the exact opposite.
Right there on the chart. If you
I mean,
look at
just survey which countries are legally allow in Muslim majority countries where this is a legal, where the definition of marriage has changed from being between a man and a woman. In Muslim majority countries, I don't think there's any really traction for this idea. But
let's have a look at that, shall we? He's from Pakistan, right? Let me just do a little quick research here. Shall we have a look at that? Who wants to see? Let's have a look at that, shall we? This is from Fox News. Biden offers $500K grant for English teachers in Pakistan to focus on transgender youth. I'm pretty sure Imagine the ones didn't know about this one. Pakistan, y'all. But wait, there's more. Shall I give you more? One second, y'all. Where is it now? Got to try to find it. One second, y'all. We're not done yet. Look at here. You heard it here first on the Black Grassroots, Black Muslim Grassroots. U.S. Congress approves USD 25 million for democracy gender programs in Pakistan. You didn't know, imagine. You didn't know. U.S. Congress approved USD 25 million civilian aid package for Pakistan to strengthen democracy and promote women's rights in the South Asian country. Who made this happen? Who made this happen? Was it your black Muslim converts? Did you try to brush under the rug? Did we do that? Or was it your everyday biscuit chasers? 25 million. Black people cannot get reparations at all. But the US Congress approved 25 million to some other country somewhere, Muslim country, mind you, to promote democracy and gender education, as they call it. Let's go back, shall we? Let's keep watching.
Which Muslim countries is gay marriage legal?
I can't think of one.
What do you think about that?
Look, for me, this is a human issue. I don't think we should have to change the definition of what marriage is to have sympathy for people that have same-sex attraction. I think that there's a lot of crossing of lanes here, which I think has been largely responsible for some of the mess we now find ourselves in, where men are saying they're women. I think tradition is important. It needs to be respected and maintained. There's a reason in tradition, marriage is between a man and a woman. Civil unions and civil partnerships are something else. I'm not into in any way persecuting minority identities. My interest is to make sure that tradition as well is preserved and not tinkered with, because what we've seen of late with the woke culture wars, and said we'd come to the trans thing, and maybe we can go into it here now, is the absurdity of this all becomes apparent. When you start, tradition is there for a reason, and the wisdom that underpins a lot of our traditional perspectives, in time you can begin seeing, especially as you become older and become a parent. And if you start playing with that wisdom, as I say, the absurdity becomes apparent. Now, there is no reason other than a respect for tradition and a recognition of reality, which is what tradition is, I believe, and the wisdom that is underpinning tradition is based on. There is no reason other than that to object to a lot of this madness. The reason I object to this madness is I say that we as human beings have existed here on this planet for so many thousands of years, and along you come and think that you've suddenly found an answer to these questions, and the answer is that I can identify however I want. I'm sorry, but I don't think that you have the accumulated wisdom of generations of human beings on this planet. People that have had intersex identities, people that have had trans identities, people that have had same-sex attraction have always existed in these societies. And if you go to Pakistan as an example here, if you go to Lahore, and if you go to the Badshah Masjid, which is one of the big, most beautiful mosques in Lahore, around that Badshah Masjid was the traditional red light district of the Mughal emperors, because a lot of the concubines and others would live around the court. And in Pakistan, there's a very old tradition of men that would come to weddings and dance, and they would be dressed up as women. And in Urdu, the common parlance for this is kusre. Yeah, and it's not, the idea of the trans identity in a traditional Muslim society is not, it's not alien. But what never happened was that you take that phenomenon, which was they weren't, of course there are challenges with how they're treated, and that needs to improve in every case. But what never happened was you take that identity, which has existed there for a long time, and now you want to start tinkering with tradition by changing the norms and the customs and the legislation upon which those norms and customs lead to, by saying that I'm going to now change the definition of marriage.
Anyways, thank you, Majid, for that beautiful definition. Thank you for defending Islam so beautifully. Majid Nawaz, ladies and gentlemen. Majid Nawaz. Thank you. Man, thank you, Majid. All right, look at here. But the point is, I want to get you at is that he is saying all the trigger words of the alt-right, all the trigger words of red pill. Every red pillar got to say woke at least once in their lectures, the wokeism, You know, they got to say liberal left. They got to say all this kind of stuff. He's hitting them all. Traditional marriage. He's hitting all the right words to say. But what else comes with red pill? You know what else comes with red pill? The other thing that comes with red pill is right-leaning politics. That's the other thing that comes with red pill. And you're finding a whole slew of YouTubians swinging right. Just like we had a whole slew of immigrant Muslims who have historically been left. And you can't tell them anything. That's the crazy thing. You can't say anything. Like they just got here, and you got even big sheikhs, like people of knowledge. You know, no doubt that they have knowledge, like Sheikh Haytham Haddad, okay, from Britain. Big sheikh from Britain, talking about, you know, it is wajib for you to vote. Because if you don't vote, you're committing a sin in Islam. Big sheikhs like this, saying this stuff. Haytham Haddad, he got knowledge with him. He got big knowledge with him. He's not no lightweight, but that's what he said. Then you got sheikhs, like scholars, okay, in the West, talking about, I don't agree with, you know, homosexuality, but I support the right for homosexuals to get married in the Western society. Yeah, ulama saying this. Well, Western ulama, anyways, they saying that. Like, who is really surprised? Who is really surprised? So now, there's this whole movement now that the sons and the daughters of the liberal Muslims have accepted. And that is the alt-right. But what else comes with the alt-right? You know what else comes with alt-right, being alt-right? Being a white supremacist. And you have Muslims who have no issues whatsoever accepting white supremacy. None whatsoever. As a matter of fact, you have Muslims who openly said that us and the white nationalists, the Muslims and the white nationalists, we should work together to defeat liberalism. And you got Muslims signing off on that nonsense. Can you imagine? So the left-right paradigm, they need each other for the entire system to work. Democracy does not work at all without a left and a right. You need that for democracy to work. Here come the Muslims now, immigrants as usual, of course, talking about we need to fight the left. We need to join the right so we can fight the left. Of course. While ulama all over the world, like real ulama anyways, have always said that democracy is kufr. Democracy is not from belief and whatnot. We have our own systems and whatnot. And you get involved in democracy if it is, a necessity. And only that. These guys want you to participate, take one side over another side, and just participate in the system, thus bolstering the entire system. But why are you saying all this, Bila? This person who is interviewing Imagine was, his name is Patrick Bet David. Okay? And a while back, he had an interview with Uncle Roro, y'all. It's Uncle Roro, y'all. Roland Martin. Now, Roland Martin, I'm no fan of Roland Martin either. He is a Democrat douche. And we've actually, gave him that work on this channel as well. But what you've seen here is the owner of Valuetainment, Mr. Patrick Bet David. He could not hide his disdain for black folk, which is what the alt-right is about. So we're going to watch some of this interview with Uncle Roro, y'all. 1 second, y'all. Just give me a minute. 1 second. Let me get this all set up for y'all. Let's cancel that. Go over here. It's Uncle Roro, y'all. Sorry. Roland Martin. Okay, let's get some of this going here. All right, let's hear what Mr. Patrick Bet David and Roland Martin are talking about.
It's real easy to say it's excuses when I'm stating.
Let me just slow this down. 1 second, y'all. I'll slow it down to that.
Facts. And the point I'm stating is
That's not a fact. That's just an opinion.
no, it's a fact. The state of Texas
Yeah.
significantly has an impact economically, educationally on what happens in Houston. That's a fact.
Yeah, but
as somebody who, as a kid, traveled with my mom to rallies and events with the metropolitan organization and the state capitol, I understand.
Did you grow up rich?
Who?
Did you grow up rich?
No, my parents didn't go to college.
How are you rich then?
What do you mean how?
How are you rich?
Here's how.
How are you rich?
No, here's how.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, the neighborhood that I grew up in it was one of the first master plan communities by HUD. What you had in my neighborhood was you had folks. First of all, I had mom and dad, one who also
Married
who
together?
also hell yeah, they're still married 56 years. Who absolutely believed in education. Now, what I recognize is, so for me in my household, what my parents emphasized, never went to college. Then my brother went to Texas A&M. I went to Texas A&M. My sister went to Texas A&M. And so that was our house. What I recognize is that somebody who is next door or across the street or around the corner did not have the situation that I had. Now, I totally get that. What I don't do is be arrogant enough to say, well, I did this. Why can't you? Because I understand that not everyone has the exact same setup, the same situation. What I'm talking about, and this is the, again.
But why not give that story of inspiration to say you can get out of it.
First of all, you say, why not?
Why
I'm
not?
sorry. Yeah, you clearly have never watched my show when what I talk about consistently are these very issues. I don't sit here and go do doom and gloom. First of all, every single Tuesday on my show, I feature actual Black-owned businesses. Every single Wednesday, I feature African Americans who are tech companies.
I love that.
Every Friday,
Yeah.
I actually feature something called Education Matters, folks who are in the education space, school choice. I got HBCU Connect. So I do all of that.
So then
But one second.
But you know why I said that? Let me tell you why I said that. Because you
Okay.
said, I'm not the one that says, look at me, I got out, so can you. That's what you said.
No. Here's why I say that. Because it is arrogant when, as an individual, I'm assuming everyone else's situation is the same. That's first. Two, it's also arrogant to then not actually study and look at how from a macro level. See, you're describing a micro level. You can always have that singular individual or this person or that person or this family. That's micro. What I'm talking about is macro issues. And what I'm saying is when I look at communities, that's not micro, that's macro.
Everything that Roland Martin here is spitting is facts. And Mr. David Bett, okay, he is trying to interpolate every single straw man argument he can possibly find, and mind you, red herring, to throw Roland Martin off his argument. If you watch this whole clip, and it is on Valuetainment, it is very clear that Roland Martin is sticking to the topic, and he's spitting facts, but it gets even worse. Let's keep watching, okay? You're gonna see why I'm showing this in a minute.
Even within the African American community, when you dealt with Jim Crow, you couldn't live anywhere else. You literally could not live anywhere else. Bottom line is that you were Black and had money, and then you were Black and broke, you were literally living in the same neighborhood. After Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? Those African Americans who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move away though? Why move away?
Because
if you care about the community, why not stay there and change it?
Well,
you see, the king of the straw man, the king, he's not trying to argue in good faith. Roland Martin is trying to give some historical context. And here comes the immigrant, okay? The refugee. Why didn't you stay in your busted up country? Why did your parents come to America? Why are you in America right now and not trying to build Iran where you're from? Pointing the finger at Black folk. Go back to Iran and build it up. Why did you leave? Oh, my parents. Why'd your parents leave? If you love your community so much, I'm pretty sure you love your people. Go back to Iran. Go fix them. Ain't they protesting there right now about hijabs and stuff? But he's very quick. Very quick. And this is what the red pillars and the alt-righters do. They love to talk about responsibility, and they love to talk about doing for self and all this kind of stuff. But when they get put in the hot seat, they have nothing but straw men arguments and red herrings. That's it. Because they don't argue in good faith. But particularly when it comes to Black folk. They are trying to say that Black people are the way that they are because we are too lazy and stupid to get out of our situation. Can you imagine working for free for 4 solid centuries and to have some immigrant that came here as a child tell you, why did you move out your community? Why did you move out? Why'd you move out your community? Don't you love your community? Go back and fix it. You go back and fix your community. The arrogance of these people, man. But this is what the Muslims are doing now. This stuff. CRT is irreligious. George Fentanyl Floyd. All this kind of nonsense. Where'd they get it from? Folks like this.
First of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean? How do you think white flight was created? So everybody else get to move, but we can't move?
But if you act like you care about the community
No,
as much
guess
as you
what?
do, stay
But no,
there.
but hold on, no, but I'll answer your question. Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods, they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able to
change it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Okay,
I'll give you an idea. Are you familiar with Palmdale?
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you even know today? We've done the stories in Florida when somebody's black selling their house, the appraisers will come in and literally give them a value $100,000 to $300,000 less because they're black. You know that's actually happened, right?
You'll take one story and say that.
Oh my God!
You hear that? You hear that? Who remembers this? Who remembers this? Islam isn't about race. Islam not about racial issues. You black folk don't need to be talking about no racial issues. Don't talk about no racial issues. You're a Muslim now. Talk about Muslim issues. Not issues about black and white. Talk about Muslim issues. The next day, we're protesting downtown for Palestine. Do you see the pattern here? Come on, brother. Come on. Why are you talking about that black stuff? Why are you always talking about that black stuff? Don't talk about that black stuff. You're Muslim now. Now, please send us some money for Kashmir. And please send us some money for the Uyghurs. And please send us some money for the Rohingya. And please send us some money for Turkey. And please send us some money for Syria. And please send us some money for Palestine. But make sure you don't send any money to those black kuffar. Can you imagine the audacity? He's out here talking about, oh, you just mentioned one situation. Where are the rabid red pill Rowabada? Where are you? There's a smoke show. Come and defend yourself, man. Where are you guys? I'm going to leave the link in the chat. Anybody can hop on. You know, these dudes, they don't want no smoke from the Feachaz anyways, man. We invite them all the time. They never come. Never come. They like to go on comments. You should see how some of these guys stalk me, bro. they stalk. If I leave a comment on somebody else's channel, which is a rare thing, one of them will come, oh, you black nationalists, where are you now? Come and talk about my black nationalism now. Y'all are tripping. Can you imagine the gonads on that, man? You mentioned one situation. It only happened one time. Let's see if it happened one time, shall we? But people like this are not really concerned with the facts anyways. They use the facts when it benefits them. But when they are getting slammed with facts, they remember how to use a red herring. They remember how to use a straw man. They remember how to use a any type of logical fallacy. Slippery slope. Appeal to hypocrisy. You name it. They remember how to use an ad hominem. They remember every single type of logical fallacy in the book when it comes to it, because they're not arguing in good faith. They're trying to push a political agenda, just like your YouTubian Dai elites are, because it is profitable. There are people with very deep pockets who have no issues throwing money at white supremacy to keep it going. And some of those people just happen to be Muslims. A surprise. And when we tell these people, we get looked like we're the ones who are crazy.
You're weird.
Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. 1 second, y'all. So let me get this thing here for you. Where is it now? Oh, here we go. Racial discrimination in home appraisals is a problem that's now getting federal attention. Who's giving it attention? The federal government. The actual federal government is giving attention to this one case of appraisal abuse, according to Patrick Bet-David. The singular case. Throughout the pandemic, home values have skyrocketed, but Black homeowners are less likely to benefit from this trend, and in some cases have seen their home values stagnate relative to the broader real estate market. The reasons for this are multifaceted, but the racial bias in home appraisals is a key contributor. The Biden administration has recognized this challenge and last week announced the creation of a task force. Of course, they always announcing task force. That's all the Democratic Party does. They announce task force for Black folk and don't do a damn thing. It's always a task force. So they hire people, mostly white people, and of course they have to get their token Negroes to research the problem to make sure they don't do anything. And then they come back and say, yeah, it's a problem, it's a problem, it's a problem. We got it every year. It's a problem, it's a problem. We got to take care of it. It's a problem, it's a problem. That's what they do. But anyways, a recent Washington Post article examined real estate prices in Prince George's County, Maryland, a wealthy majority Black suburb of Washington, D.C. The article featured one couple whose home was appraised at $500,000 less than what they were expecting and $300,000 less than what they paid for in 2015, causing them to seek a more expensive forms of financing to invest in a business venture. The undervaluing of the Black homes of appraisers is not an uncommon story. Patrick Bet-David. And anybody who is serious about it, it's very easy to find articles and whatnot with this stuff, right? Very, very easy. But people who just don't care, this is what they do. This is what they do. Let's keep watching, shall we? Where is the people who want the smoke? Y'all are always brave behind comments and stuff. Who's joining me today, man? Who's coming on? I'll leave the link in the chat again. Nobody want the smoke. As usual. As usual.
On how many occasions has that happened?
Are you serious?
Do you think a message like
Okay, why don't you go ahead and Google? Why don't you go ahead and Google?
How many times has that happened? No, I believe it's happened, but how many times has that happened?
The New York Times literally just did a story talking about the systemic racism that exists within housing appraisals. This is a fundamental problem. I'm trying to see you're living in a different reality.
What progress are you making by saying that?
You see what they do? Who else talks like this? See, Zaddy and them have no problem giving immigrants like Mr. Patrick Bet-David here loans to open up businesses in black neighborhoods to make sure that black people spend their money at those businesses so he can go back to his suburb with his white American wife and send his kids and even grandkids to college with black money. But black folks, you gotta understand, seeking sympathy from folks like this is a losing uphill battle. And the best thing that you can do is to unite with yourselves. Spend your money with yourselves. Support yourselves, even if it's more expensive, because you are not getting sympathy from nobody, nor should you expect it, nor should you even think that you deserve it. Can you imagine every single thing Roland Martin is saying? And I am no fan of Roland Martin, not in the least, but he is backing up with facts and data, and all Mr. Patrick Bet-David from Iran, supporter of Israel, can say is, well, what do you hope to accomplish? How do you expect us to come together when you're saying stuff like this? So you want us to come together under white supremacy. You want us to keep, being buck broken and all the other kind of nonsense that come with white supremacy. You want us to just keep taking it. That's what you want. Seeking allyship from folks like this is a futile exercise. Whether it is supporters of Israel like Mr. Patrick Bet-David or your so-called Muslim brothers. Futile. Don't waste your time. They want you to be biscuits and Sambos forever. Because that second salary that they're getting off of black dollars is very helpful to their kids. And Allah says in the Quran, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change the condition of themselves. Just the audacity. Let's keep going, y'all.
So progress.
So what you're
I'm trying to end that. Do you know how inherent? Okay, hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
You're trying to.
Hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern,
I
right?
am, yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Yes.
If you're selling your home, you've got a home that you know,
Right.
and you put upgrades in it, and you know your home is worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And somebody comes into your home, and they see your photos,
Right.
and they see your family, and then they go back and they go $350,000. You go, what the hell?
So you tell that story.
Wait, one
You
second,
tell
one
that
second, one
story
second.
to get people to be convinced that that's happening.
It's actually
Out of 1,000 appraisals.
Oh my God.
Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many
What
times
are
does that
you
happen?
doing?
Out of 1,000.
You hear that? See, the mistake that Mr. Roland Martin made here is he's trying to appeal to the empathy of someone who has no empathy for black folk. And this is a mistake that black Muslims make all the time. Because we know in Islam that the brotherhood is based upon Quran and Sunnah. This is what we understand. But we assume that because we want to unite upon Quran and Sunnah, that people will unite with us based upon Quran and Sunnah. And that is not the case, nor has it been the case since the time the Sahaba passed. Alayhim salam. Did we make that social construct? Did we start that? But rather, what you're supposed to do is sit down and be quiet. Like Mr. David, Patrick Bet David here is suggesting. Sit down, be quiet. Take your abuse. Shut up, suck it up. And don't expect us to empathize with you. Who remembers Asim al-Hakim? Asim al-Hakim, remember when George Floyd was murdered? Did he empathize, Sheikh Asim al-Hakim, with black folk and their struggle at all? Did he empathize with the how many hundreds of thousands of murdered by the authorities, white authorities, black men murdered? Did he empathize with those who have been facing the systemic subjugation of black people through the prison industrial complex? No. What did he empathize with? Why are those people rioting? They are rioting and they're destroying a property. Why? Just because they are white? That's what he empathized with. Just because they are white? And he said it just like that too. These are your brothers? Give me a break. Give me a break. This is a common mistake that black folk make. You think because you are acting like we're all brothers, that other folk are acting like we are all brothers. But other folk were already racist to begin with, and now the red pill grift has given them a green light to outwardly express their disdain for your blackness. Do not get it twisted. And if you insist on begging people for brotherhood, then you would deserve another 500 years of slavery. If we are brothers, then we are going to be brothers. And you would not have to listen to the condescending, outlandish, outrageous, audacious tone of unsympathetic people gaslight you because you are mentioning historical context to the suffering of black folk. Leave those people alone. We did not invent this construct. We are, in fact, the victims of this construct. And no amount of gaslighting, talking about victim mindset and stuff, will change that. However, as Allah says in the Quran, whoever does not change the condition with themselves, Allah doesn't change the condition of people until they change the condition within themselves. We are responsible for changing our own condition. We cannot look outside of ourselves to have other people change our condition. Anyways, I said what I said. I said what I said. And I will leave you guys with that. Inshallah, I know it's getting late. It's almost 10 o'clock. So we will, if you guys like the new format, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. And we will catch you guys later. Subhanaka bihamdik wa shahadu la ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Nobody came for the smoke. I tried to get them out. I tried. Nobody came. But jazakumullah khair. Thanks for everybody for joining me tonight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.